arcade mode episode. I don't even know anymore. Were we on?
We're not in arcade mode.
Fuck. Nerdly Kingdom episode 4. You don't need 2 microphones, William.
One of them's
That one's off.
It doesn't
You can
matter.
hear me over here. No, you can hear me over here.
That one's off.
Heck.
Yeah. Now it's on.
Now you can hear me in 2 microphones.
I'm going to put a slight delay on one of them.
Pigs in space.
Oh my god.
Hello, peoples. Beep, start. This is Nerdly Kingdom. I keep forgetting what podcast we're recording.
I got a coffee at Joe Muggs last week, and it tasted like trash. Explain to me why the coffee at Books A Million tastes so bad. I think they knew that I thought it tasted bad, because I'm pretty sure I made a face after I took a sip, and I wanted to return it.
You should come to ours.
Because it was just so
to
bad.
return it.
But I could tell that the person there was being trained, and I didn't want her to feel bad. Like, I didn't want her to think it was her fault. My coffee tastes like shit.
Hey, everyone. You're listening to the Nerdly Kingdom podcast. I'm Brad.
I'm Lori.
And I'm William. I watched the Oscars. And,
I recorded the Oscars.
I didn't watch them last year for some reason, but I watched them this year, and I think them going with no host actually really improved the show, I think.
I've heard positive things about them not having a host.
Because it was very fluid, just going from one nominee to the next, and the presenters, got to squeeze in some jokes and got to be more playful. So that was fun.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, yeah, I mean, if this is the direction they decide to go in the future, I'm for it. Because, like, the last Oscars I watched that I really truly enjoyed the host was Seth MacFarlane.
I loved that one because that was the music one, and I got to
Yeah.
listen to Seth MacFarlane sing.
And that was the only time, like, all of his jokes were really funny. Like you always get, like, those few cringe jokes, but I thought all of his jokes were really funny. Ellen's year was fun, but really annoying, just because I think Ellen's annoying sometimes.
I liked Ellen's year.
Like, I don't know. I think Ellen tries too hard to be fun and wacky. And it's cool when it's, like, on her show, but when it's the Oscars...
But the Oscars got Ellen because she's Ellen.
Yeah.
So it's like you would expect that.
And then I didn't
her.
see Jimmy Kimmel's.
I forgot he hosted.
Was that last year?
I did watch that. I don't remember
I don't know. But yeah, this year there was no host, and I thought it was really good. I think, like, if they were to do, like, for a few minutes, do, like, an overture and make, like, this montage celebrating cinema before going into the main show, that would
That'd
be great.
cool.
Because it just, focusing on the winners and the nominees just puts more emphasis on the Hollywood's big night, instead of having someone up there make jokes about everybody, and then make jokes and comment about, like, the Hollywood politics. Because, like, last year was all about Me Too, which wasn't that big of a deal, but I mean, it kind of when you're wanting to watch just awards, and then every single nominee has something to say, but it's the same exact thing the first person said.
Well, I mean, and the thing is it had just really hit, come out in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And so it was a really fresh, open wound. So, it was there.
It was still relevant at the time too. But, and I don't know, like, I feel like it just would have been a mess. But it moved on nicely. The winners, I wasn't too thrilled with a lot of the winners. Alfonso Cuarón went home with 3 statues.
What did he win them for?
He won Best Cinematography for Roma, Best Foreign Film for Roma, and Best Director.
I don't know what Roma is.
Roma was my favorite movie of the year, the Netflix movie.
That helped none. Ooh, a Netflix movie won. Yeah. Nice.
That's actually why this debate came back up from Spielberg.
Oh. He's just mad.
But Roma wasn't really a Netflix movie. Roma was a movie that he produced independently, and Netflix picked it up.
Yeah.
So, but still technically it's a Netflix movie. So I guess I'll kind of talk about the stuff that Bohemian Rhapsody won for Best Editing, Best Sound Design, and Best Sound Editing, which was just a joke.
But deep down, you knew it would win for those.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to win for something, considering we knew it was going to get Best Picture. But the problem is...
Rami Malek won too.
Best Actor.
Best Actor,
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So Best Editing is silly because like that movie's edited very weird. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's edited weird is because the surviving band members in there like demanded that any scene featuring all four of them, they all needed equal screen time. So that's why like it's constantly cutting to each of their faces in different scenes because they all demanded that they all have equal screen time, and it looks weird. And I guess like you could award editing to that, considering the movie had two different directors, two different tones, having to deal with all that mess of the band members wanting equal screen time in all the scenes. But at the same time, I don't know. It's just it seems like we'll throw you a bone for this, which isn't that necessarily awful. Yeah. But then like sound design and sound editing, especially when it comes to stuff like A Quiet Place and Roma and First Man, movies that all kind of, a lot of the mood and the tone of the film comes from the sound and the sound design.
Yeah.
And it just felt cheap to me to give Bohemian Rhapsody that, because I guess music movies equals sound. I don't know.
I mean, it's like they won those because the music was Queen.
Yeah. I mean, the Oscars now aren't even really a measurement of quality, but more so how much money you pay or how much you promote this movie to be nominated. But, and Rami, I'm glad Rami won Best Actor. I really liked his performance. I wouldn't say he was my favorite or what I would think is the best out of all the nominees, because I think that Christian Bale and Willem Dafoe both had better performances than Rami. But I'm glad he won, because he really did seem like he poured a lot into it. And to see him win now at such a young age, it opens up so many doors for him, because I know he's now confirmed to be playing the villain in the new James Bond movie.
Nice.
So he's got a pretty good career ahead of him. Anyways, part of me really wanted Willem Dafoe to win because he did such a good job at Eternity's Gate. I watched that. I bought that for Maggie for Valentine's Day. It's the Vincent Van Gogh movie starring Willem Dafoe as Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And he was nominated for Best Actor. The movie is good. Very good. The camera work and cinematography, it's very frustrating because it does a lot of point of view shots and it's very shaky in a lot of scenes. And it's intentional, and it annoyed me so much. But it's such a good movie. And Willem Dafoe does such a great job of being Van Gogh.
I have made mistakes.
Other than that, like I was pretty happy with all of the most of the wins. I hate that Green Book won Best Original Screenplay.
As did most everyone. Because
I really wanted First Reformed to win something. And First Reformed is such a really well-written screenplay. And Green Book won, and I don't know why. Green Book won Best Picture. I don't know why. I mean, we can talk about this now that we're here. Yeah. Why did Green Book win Best Picture? I don't know.
I think that Green Book won because the Oscars wanted to try and cater to pat themselves on the back and be like, look, we are diverse. It ended up backfiring on them because the movie that they decided to have win was a white savior movie. Therefore, the people they were trying to please were actually not happy because they didn't like the movie.
See, I didn't even see it as even we're going to please this group of people by awarding this movie, but more of we're going to show them, hey, we're not all racist.
Yeah.
Even then, that message just got scattered and back to the point where you guys have no idea what the real issue is here.
Yeah.
By saying we're not all racist, by heavily fictionalizing a friendship in real life.
We are woke.
It's just really obnoxious to know that movies like Black Panther, Black Klansman, all of those movies were nominated to be more, specifically to be more diverse. And they still awarded Green Book.
Yeah.
Which to me just shows, like, when you look at the speech and it's just a stage full of white guys patting each other on the back for making this great woke racist movie.
Yeah.
And then saying, oh, this movie wouldn't have been possible had it not been for white actor here.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell, like, they're completely missing the point of what they're trying to say and looking more racist by comparison. And it's just really weird, especially when, like, there's better movies that came out this year that were made by black filmmakers about the black people.
And actually had them as the lead of their own movies.
And it's like Spike Lee stomped out of the theater in anger because Green Book won. And I get why. Like, I understand why. Like...
Because, it's like I heard about that and I was like, I could see that.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I haven't seen Black Klansman, but I'm sure, like, that movie, especially considering Spike Lee's past filmography, speaks more about the black community than Green Book.
Well, and not to mention, it's also another one of those things that was based on a true story.
Oh, yeah.
Of a thing that actually happened. And, you know... Once again, I haven't seen it, but pretty sure it doesn't have the whole white savior complex in it.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Green Book, the white savior complex in Green Book, is that it's entirely fictionalized. And that's my biggest problem, is that if you want to make a movie about Dr. Shirley, that's great, but don't, like, create this entire fictionalized narrative around this supposed friendship between him and his driver.
Yeah.
I don't know. And plus, on that too, it makes it more disrespectful when you hear Mahershala Ali talk about how he was the only one from the production that reached out to Dr. Shirley's family.
Oh my God.
Like, he reached out to them to kind of be, you know, because the family hates the movie. And
that should be red flag number one right there.
The family really doesn't like the movie because they're talking about how, like, the entire friendship in the movie was highly fictionalized. This didn't happen. This didn't happen. The whole thing in the movie about him teaching Dr. Shirley about the black race and how you people love fried chicken and all this was stuff that even the writer said they created for the movie.
And it's like, it's crazy because it's like, you're literally throwing in a racist stereotype on a guy that you're trying to portray as a not racist.
Yeah. And trying to treat it like it's some triumphant story of defeating racism at all odds. And it's like, it's just funny to me. Like, it's, okay, the director is Peter Farrelly, who made Dumb and Dumber, Kingpin, all the Farrelly Brothers movies. And it's like, you can tell, like, he just doesn't get what the problem with the movie is. Like, it's just like, oh, we think we're making a movie about racism being defeated by all odds, but it just makes it seem more racist.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, I mean, white savior movies have a bad habit of doing that anyway, and it's just because white savior movies are made by white people who think...
Shocker.
Yeah, who think that they understand this struggle. However, even if they are sympathetic to the struggle, they are seeing the struggle from an outside window.
Yeah.
And so when they try and write a story to help, they don't get it. They don't see it. They don't empathize. Well, they empathize, but they don't fully understand because they've never been through that. So they end up trying to write this character basically a self-insert to try and help, when in reality it just falls into the white savior trope.
Green Book is just a bad fan fiction. It's just a bad self-insert fan fiction.
Yeah, self-insert fan fiction.
There were so many better movies that came out this past year that could have won other than Green Book. Oh, well, it'll age like milk.
I think it already has.
I mean, in a month from now, you'll start seeing people like, should Green Book really have won? And we'll be like, we told you months ago it shouldn't have.
I'm pretty sure most people were saying that the second it won.
Yeah. People on Reddit were like, what even the fuck is going on? And it's just like, you can't, like, the movie was written by 3 white guys. You've got to have some black voice in there. Because, I don't know, it just goes back to us talking about the difference between men making female superhero movies and women making female superhero movies.
Yeah.
Movies about fat people being written by skinny people as opposed to being written by fat people.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know, you can't make a movie about not you without consulting and just being like, actually feel like, I know how this is because
this is why the Netflix series One Day at a Time. I got to go to a convention and actually hear one of the like head producers talk about how the show came to be, and he's a white man, and he sat down and with two or three other white dudes who brought it to him saying, this is our show idea, we want you to work on the team, to work with us on this show. And the first thing he did, he was like, so it's a Puerto Rican family? And they're like, yeah. And he looked around and he's like, we're not the only ones writing this, right? Like, you do see something wrong here. It's like, we are gonna. And so they ended up bringing in his co-producer is, if I'm not mistaken, a Puerto Rican woman. And he was the one who was like, we have to have someone who actually lives this life so that we can get it right. And they do.
Okay. See, I like stuff like that.
The daughter in it is gay, and he pulls a lot from, because his daughter came out to him. So he pulls a lot from his experience as a parent, having a gay child. And he also, if I'm not mistaken, has reached out to her and had her reflect back to him, different things. So I think what makes that show so good, even though, there is a white guy as like the head producer and stuff, he understands that he's writing something that he does not fully understand. And so he has diverse people who have lived this, who do understand, to be there to be like, this is what's going on. And I think that there's we need more white writers willing to do that.
Yeah. I do that with Maggie sometimes. Like, if I'm working on a script that has a female character in it, I'll sit down with her and be like, hey, I've got this character. This is kind of what I'm thinking about doing with her. What do you think about this? What would you inject and add into this? Like, I've sat down because I've got one script right now where the main character and his a friend of his who's a girl gets in a big argument. And I'm like, does this sound natural to you? Because I don't know, like, how to write an argument between a man and a woman without it being about, like, relationship-y. And this one's supposed to be, but not really. So I've been trying to sit with her and be like, what do you think about this? Does this sound right? Would you say something like this? And
it makes sense, because it's like, for you, being in an argument with a woman in a relationship setting, you're only going to see that guy's perspective.
Yeah.
You can try and see it from the girl's perspective, but you're still seeing it from the guy's perspective, seeing the girl's perspective and everything. So to reach out to a female, get her perspective too, that makes all the difference.
That's my favorite thing about the movie 500 Days of Summer, is that depending on who you are, if you're a man or a woman, you're seeing 2 different movies, even though it's the same movie. Because, like, I will pay more attention to Tom's character, and we'll start to be like, okay, so yeah, Tom's in the right. But then, like, I'll watch it and pay attention to Summer's character, And it's like, oh, okay, so Tom was in the wrong this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting stuff like that. That's one thing I like about that movie. That movie's really well written between a guy and a girl character.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really weird to see like how much the movie changes when you shift your focus off of the male character and instead just pay more attention to the female character.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching a completely different movie.
That's wild.
Okay, what other Oscar stuff did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, Spider-Man won Best Animated Film,
I just recently saw it.
which the nominees it was up against wasn't really that.
I mean, very rarely is there many good animated films.
But the thing
When
is,
it's not a Disney Pixar, does that even count?
No.
it's usually just the Disney films that win, but the reason that is because the Oscar voters, there's no requirement for them to watch the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, they'll just ask their grandkids which one they liked the most.
That's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's this prestigious award ceremony.
You're
How
not
the
even-
judges don't even have to watch it.
No, I mean, they'll watch it if you pay them enough. It
That's
totally
the
isn't
thing with
bribery.
the best screenplay nominations too, is there's no requirement for them to read the screenplays. They just base it off of the movie itself.
Like, that just makes no sense to me. Like, back when we were in high school, could you imagine going to a band competition? However, there's no guarantee that the judge even had to sit there and watch your band perform.
It's the
like-
Oscars is the only place where stuff like that could happen.
Oh my god.
They've gotten too big for them britches.
That's just the biggest problem with the Oscars now is that the voters have become lazy. But it's okay because they'll die soon.
They want to pay me, I will happily watch every movie. They can pay me half of what
Is it
the
just one
Academy-
group of people that votes on all of these things?
Judging everything?
Yeah.
I think so.
Mhm.
I'm shocked there's not like different groups of people judging different kinds of things.
No, it's
that would make
like,
way more sense and require less people to see every single movie ever.
I
I'm
wouldn't
just like-
mind. That seems
I
like a
would
great
love
job
to
to
be-
have. Hey,
I
you're
would
an
love
Oscar
to
voter.
have that. And guess
Yeah.
what? I would happily be an Oscar voter, and you only have to pay me like a quarter of what you pay
Like,
all
I'd
the
be
others.
surprised
and
if,
I will
like,
actually watch everything.
The more technical stuff would go to a completely different set of voters that actually know about technical stuff.
I am glad that First
It's
Man
probably
won Best
some
Visual
like
Effects.
70-year-old who still asks his kid how to post a status on Facebook.
Oh, but oh my gosh, there was a lot
man.
of Marvel fans went into full-blown meltdown because Infinity War didn't win Best Visual Effects.
What did win?
First Man.
Well, I mean, at least it went to like a worthy movie,
Yeah, because I mean the visual effects in that movie were great.
Yeah.
Everything, like I never doubted that they weren't in space the whole time. But like Avengers, like I knew it was fake.
Mm-hmm. Well, people need to understand that it's like it doesn't have to be crazy over the top special effects
Yeah.
to win that.
Yeah.
It has to be good special effects. Just like I feel costuming. It doesn't have to be crazy over the top costuming. It has to be good,
Good
costuming.
costuming. And that's one
Then why
thing.
did Suicide Squad win makeup last time?
Because somebody probably paid off somebody.
That would make sense.
No, but one thing someone on Reddit was like, shouldn't Infinity War be more award worthy since they used CGI to make me believe in a character that doesn't exist? And I was like, okay, look, I understand where you're coming from, but there was never one time in that movie where I was like, hey, Thanos might be a real person. Like, he looked great, he acted great, but I still knew that he was fake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of like the end of that argument. First Man, on the other hand, like I was fully convinced, like between the direction, the cinematography, and the visual effects, I never once was like, oh, this is just a movie. Like I was in the moment during the moon landing. I was there. I was like, this is great. I'm tense. And this funny thing too is I knew that they were going to land on the moon because of history.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still like, oh my God, are they going to make it? Because the movie pulled me in so well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do feel like they're more deserving. Black Panther went home with 2.
I know they won for Best Costume.
Best Costume and Best Original Score.
Was a big deal because she was the first African-American woman to win that award, which is saying something because it's 2019.
Best Costume? Mm-hmm. See, I hadn't watched that. I didn't know that because by the time I had actually tuned into the Oscars, they had already gone through that.
Well, so I saw the post.
That's interesting,
online.
Though.
She was the first African-American woman to win that award.
What else? Spike Lee won his first Oscar. Was best at that. I love how he hugged Sam Jackson.
I like that Sam Jackson.
He wrapped his whole body around him. It was sweet. Spike Lee's so small. He dressed like Waluigi too.
I saw that. Wow. He was in all purple and he had a purple hat.
But I mean, it was all right. I feel like the Academy is just falling apart in terms of what they judge is the best of modern cinema.
Well, I think we're also getting to a point, and to kind of compare it with politics, it's a different generation now. Mm-hmm. We're kind of sick of, well, a lot of people are kind of sick of just accepting what old people have to say. Like, that sounds really bad. But like,
so is a lot of the stuff old people have to say.
But it's like for years, it's like the Oscar people were like quiet, and everyone's like, oh, they must know everything. Our generation's just like, what do they know about this movie? Like, come on, And I feel like kind of we're just sick of like 80-year-old people who aren't in touch with today's time, telling us what is and isn't good, what is and isn't right. They just need to update.
Roma should have won Best Picture.
Nickelodeon's Teen Choice Awards got it right. Let the people vote.
Best Fortnite dance.
No, maybe I don't think letting.
That's what the kids want. The kids want James McAvoy on stage at the Oscars flossing.
Okay, for 1 year,
and he'll misunderstand, and he'll actually just get on stage because of like dental floss and just like.
For 1 year, I would love to see the train wreck that would be the Oscars done like the Teen Choice Awards.
Like a people.
If I ever host the Oscars, I'm gonna come out and be like flossing and just start flossing. Well, it's
gonna be funny because think about how long that's gonna be from now.
And that's gonna be my entire opening.
Don't actually do the floss.
Do the floss wrong. Like,
no, just go on stage and do the lyrics like he did in that video.
I'll be flossing. Just that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, presenting so-and-so, and then I walk off.
Well, you're not even scheduled to be on there. You just walked up and no one stopped you.
That's going to be, if I ever win an Oscar, that's going to be my acceptance speech.
And
I'll be flossing.
Are the Oscars
now
the ones that play
I'm gonna floss until the music starts playing, and then I'm gonna go thank you and walk off stage with my Oscar.
No, like when the music starts playing, you change to like one of the other Fortnite dances. Which still, the thing is if that happens, even 10 years from now, none of those things are going to be relevant anymore.
I'm going to accept my award like Nicki Minaj would accept one of hers. I'm going to be like, Spielberg, where you at? Who won this year, bitch? And then I'm going to walk off stage.
And then instead of dropping the mic, you just drop your award.
I just chunk it into the audience. Peace.
As you get up there, I don't even care that I won. I just care that I beat Spielberg. And you just throw it out.
You're like, Spielberg, you want this award? Too bad. I'm giving it to Netflix.
As a random listener who doesn't watch the Oscars, this is still very funny.
I haven't seen the Oscars either.
I'm going to thank Josh if I ever win an Oscar. I'm going to be like, I want to thank Josh.
They're not going to be able to have heard a word he said, but...
I love when...
Don't mess with the keys during a sound thing.
When Spider-Man won... All the producers did their speech, and then the director went and did this speech, and right before he did his speech, they cut the mic. So it was just him talking into the microphone, but you couldn't hear what he was saying, and then it cut to commercial.
Oh,
That's
man.
so sad.
I was like, yikes. Oof, I felt that pain.
Jesus.
Man.
Even without a host, they still go over time.
Oh, that's what you should do in your speech. You should walk up there and get out your paper and stand. And then as the music starts playing,
Then I'll
Start
you kind of
talking.
straighten it and then time it and then lean forward and go to talk right as your mic would
No,
come
I'll like
on.
be like, oh, my cards are unshuffled. Hold on.
I expect you to do more something like just walk up there and this is a list of things I like: ice cream, race cars, blueberries.
Clouds when they look a little bit extra fluffy and you
I'm
could
just-
just pull some off of it and eat
I'm just
it.
gonna be like, thanks, I guess.
Aubrey Plaza, and just I'd like to thank the Dark Lord.
I'd like to thank Jesus
No, one of my
For
favorite
nothing.
for nothing.
The only thing that Justin Bieber has ever done that I care about was he did an acceptance speech once and he said, I'd like to thank God and also Jesus. And ever since then, ever since I heard that, anything that happens half the time, I'll go, I would like to thank God and also Jesus for this.
I just imagine William going up there and like having just, I deserve this, and then he walks off.
Thanks, I
bet
deserved
I can
it.
fit this whole microphone in my mouth.
I feel like you guys want to hear something cool and fart.
Start beatboxing.
I want to thank the Academy. Do like a rap acceptance speech.
What up, fellow kids?
Get up there and be like, I'm so excited to be here at the Golden Globes.
No,
I'd
what
be like, oh wait, wrong speech.
no,
I'm
they're
so
gonna call
happy
out
to
your
be
name.
At the Grammys.
They're gonna call out your name. You're gonna walk up and be like, I'm gonna let you finish, but I deserve this more search your award. No, I deserve this.
Sorry, I made a better film than all of you. I just call out all the other nominees. Like, hey, I'm better than you.
It's like, I'm better than all of y'all. And then you look down at Meryl Streep, who's sitting in the very front because that woman's never gonna
I'd
die.
be like, what are you looking at?
And be like, except you. You cool.
Like, what?
Stop looking at me, Meryl.
Meryl!
Did you see that Vox Machina had a Kickstarter for their animated series?
I learned it from Philip DeFranco.
I learned it just now.
What?
It was like one day and they got 4 million.
Jesus.
They had to make new stretch goals. It is now officially an animated series because they got enough money for enough episodes.
Ooh.
Because it was just supposed to be an animated
Critical
series.
Role animated show.
I'm
That's-
here for it.
Oh, is that what you were posted on Instagram about?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Cool.
What's Instagram?
It's like
They knock on your
It's
door and
Snapchat,
like
but
hey.
Facebook.
it's like a telegram.
it's like Dunkaroos.
Wow.
It's like, hold on, I want to see where he goes with this.
It's this little container that you can push a button and it gives you instant grams.
I don't
Oh,
know.
you dip 'em
okay.
in
I
icing.
get it. It makes sense. Okay.
It's like, I don't understand if you missed the concept of Instagram or Dunkaroos. And
It's like I don't know whether he's I don't know if he didn't understand Insta or Graham.
or
It's like a case of, it's like a little container of Dunkaroos, but you never run out of crackers and you never run out of icing.
Damn, I'm on board for this Instagram
they just
shit.
got filters with the icing on there.
It just respawns every time you use it.
God, I miss
It's like in Gravity
Dunkaroos.
Falls, the piece of pizza that always
The Infinity Pizza.
yeah, Infinity Pizza. That's what
Is
Instagram
that what
is.
Thanos puts on his arm?
No, because it's not balanced. A balanced breakfast wouldn't have pizza in it, Lori.
Pizza is a vegetable according
like wheat.
to the United States of America's government.
Mm.
So back to complete disasters. Let's talk about Steven Spielberg.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, anyways,
So
let's get,
Steven Spielberg yelled at a cloud recently.
yeah, basically.
So
Cloud-
tell
a
us
cloud-
about it.
A cloud named Roma.
So yeah, Steven Spielberg's going after Netflix again. His recent comments was that he doesn't think Netflix films should qualify for Academy Awards because they are not in theaters long enough. Despite the fact that the Academy has a mandate on how long a film can be played in theaters until it's can be nominated,
So
and
there actually is a.
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
Netflix adheres to those rules so that they can be nominated. So Steven Spielberg's basically just
I mean, I would say that some of the more indie stuff that's won has been in theaters less time than some of the stuff that Netflix had.
Yeah, it's like, I mean,
I would have loved to see Buster Scruggs in theaters.
would have to.
I still haven't finished it.
but it just, and he says that as a Hollywood elite, but if he was a newer director not known as Steven Spielberg, and there's this new company that is actually offering him a chance, he would have jumped on it.
Young Steven Spielberg would have been all about the Netflix game.
Yeah.
Like, more audience, cool. He's gotten old and cranky.
It's like he's got that same idea that a lot of people have of, well, I had to do it this way and you...
Oh, geez, that mindset. Don't even get me started.
But does that not sound like that's exactly...
I did it, so you have
I had to pull it up by my bootstraps, and so you do too. And it's like, well, Netflix doesn't just do anything. It's just a new production company or whatever, They just also happen to do streaming.
There's no problem with that. I mean,
welcome to 2019.
This is the future of filmmaking, especially when you take into consideration that Netflix is really one of the only platforms that's giving filmmakers a voice without meddling. Like, it seems insulting to me that people like Martin Scorsese, the Coen brothers, Alfonso Cuarón, people that are established filmmakers are having to go to Netflix to get their stuff made. And these are people that Spielberg know and respect. And so it's almost like telling them, hey, the stuff you're making with Netflix isn't good enough for the stuff we're making over here.
From the man who did Ready Player One.
So, I mean...
Well, Ready Player One could have only done so good anyways because of what it was. But that's Spielberg.
I
podcast we've already had.
Still stand by it.
Spielberg is decades away from his best work. I think from like the past 20 years, the only movie he's done that I would consider mostly good is probably Lincoln. And a majority of why that movie is mostly good has to do with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
Like, all of his best work is behind him. And I don't ever see him being able to replicate the success he had in the 80s and 90s. Well, 10-10 was good, but I mean...
I forgot about 10-10.
Some of these I haven't really seen. Apparently Munich's supposed to be really good. I'm not seeing it, though. But yeah, like, you look at his most popular work, Saving Private Ryan, Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, Hook, Indiana Jones, E.T., Close Encounters, all that stuff, Jaws. It's like 70s, 80s. Like, he's not really done anything to measure up to his past success.
He's
I
playing
think maybe
it safe.
he's just bitter because of that.
Maybe.
And it's like just what he's doing seems very gatekeeping-esque.
Yeah, I can see that. I feel that. Well, New Hollywood will come in, and people that don't want to come along for the ride are just going to be left behind.
But
it's always been that way. People used to think that sound in movies would ruin them, and then color in movies would ruin them. Basically, anything that's different is going to ruin them.
And it's like, he can say all he wants. It doesn't change the fact that Netflix movies were included and a Netflix movie won. So, and he didn't.
One of my things is that one of his arguments was that like movies weren't meant to be seen on a small screen. You need the big theater experience. One, not every theater is the same, so the experience is going to be different. And two, how are we going to rewatch those movies? Like on the small screen again. That's the
TVs are so big nowadays too that I mean
they're there's yeah. I don't know. It's a weird argument.
Such an elitist thing to think.
Oh yeah,
because it's like going to the theaters is very much a luxury and a treat because it's very expensive.
Yeah,
it does. If you have a family,
well,
takes
anyways,
planning. I can't wait.
The only thing I can think of is like I had someone, I think it was Josh talking to me about like, oh, Netflix going under. You see how much money they've lost this whatever? And I looked into it. It's like they didn't lose money. They spent a lot of money making Netflix originals, and they're already gaining incredible returns on people. Like Bird Box alone got so many. I wouldn't even argue that Bird Box was that good, but
Bird Box wasn't bad though.
No, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't. All the Netflix originals, that's not the one I thought was going to get a ton of people to start watching Netflix again. But
it's really amusing, though, because I remember at one point I was like, I'm just not going to deal with It's like I'm getting so sick of Netflix pulling off stuff and just releasing original content. And now I'm just like, oh my God, Netflix original content is really good.
The thing is about Netflix, though, there's a lot of really good movies on Netflix. You just got to bury your way down to them. And,
I'm not doing that.
Because, like, I was going through the movies, I was making a list and stuff, and I was actually surprised by how many movies were actually on Netflix. So, I mean, the good movies and stuff there, you just have to... You have to get past all the originals to get to them.
They need to bring back Max.
Oh, I remember that. That's how I saw my first Cheech and Chong movie.
It was an AI that learned
Max.
Yeah,
on Netflix.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like I wanna.
That's how I saw.
What I want to watch.
I saw Vanilla Sky that way. I saw Vanilla Sky was one it suggested. And there was another time it would ask you do you want to play a game? And we'd play the games it'd ask weddings versus stoners, and we meant to pick weddings, but we accidentally picked stoners, and we saw that Cheech and Chong movie, and it was totally worth it. And then I did that enough where at one point he's like, I log in, and it got a little too real sometimes, because I got home from work on a Monday. He's like, Mondays, am I right? It's like, we don't know each other that well, man. Let's back off a little bit. But he's like, do you want to play a game? I was like, sure. It's like, okay, I'm going to show you a movie. I know you're going to like it. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. You're just going to watch it. I was like, do you want to do that? I was like, sure. Click. And that's how I saw Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, well.
I saw some great freaking movies because of Max. And I bet now it could incorporate more indie movies that are really good.
You want to watch
there's too much stuff. Movies. I don't have time. Tell me what to watch. I have no mind of my own.
There's a lot of good classic movies right now. Watch The Third Man.
The Third Man.
Yes. It is a mystery thriller noir type movie from the 30s or 40s. It's got Orson Welles in it. I watched it last week. It's really good.
Here's a random indie movie that no one's ever heard of that you should never ever watch because it's a great movie that's terrible. They Look Like People. You ever seen that movie? It's on Netflix, or was at least.
I think Maggie's told me about that movie.
And it's one where the guy he's being prescribed antipsychotics, anti-schizophrenic, something like that, which would be an antipsychotic, I guess. And he stops taking his medicine, and he's convinced he can hear people that are aliens, and he knows when the aliens are going to attack. And most of the movie is told from the viewpoint of his friend, not him. And so you're seeing this descent into madness in the whole movie. You have no idea whether it's real or whether it's on his head until the very end. And it's one of the most tense movies I've ever seen, with maybe the exception of We Need to Talk About Kevin. I don't know if you've seen that movie either. But oh my gosh, Ezra Miller's best performance. Hot damn.
I love Ezra Miller.
You won't after you see that movie.
Oh, I still will.
Anybody else got anything to talk about?
What?
Anybody else got anything to talk about? I'm done.
No, I think I'm done. But if you have a good Netflix movie you want us to watch and talk about, how can they tell us about it, Lori?
Well, that's a great question, Brad. They can tell us by sending us an email at nerdlykingdom@gmail.com. They can also get us on Twitter at @the_nerddom. They can also get us on Instagram at thenerdlykingdom, or Facebook at thenerdlykingdom.
Email me your Cash App and send me money.
I thought you were going to say email me cat pictures.
That's what I thought he was going to say too. We need to make our own subreddit with the no fans we have.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we could.
If you send me $10 a week, I'll start a subscription service fan club. And
to do what?
If you send me $5 a week, I will use it to buy food.
Hell, if you have an idea for what we should do on our Patreon that we don't have, send us those too. I'm open for suggestions.
Just give. I
know there's people listening.
Give us money.
I'm the treasurer.
I know.
You're not.
Send me the money.
Brad is the treasurer of the group, if anyone is.
Don't tell the viewers that. I need money.
They're not viewers. They're listeners. This is why you're not treasurer.
But I know. Yeah, I know you people are listening. I know you're listening there in what was San Francisco? No, it's not San Francisco. What's
China and California.
San Francisco. We had a bunch of people start listening. Where's my phone?
No, don't want that.
No, I am so glad that you guys have picked up on that video.
What?
No.
Feed me the bread.
Feed me the bread. I know you saw that video.
Yeah, I did.
I made everyone watch it at that party.
Don't want that.
Don't want that.
Feed me the salt.
Wait, where? I got it.
Feed me the hot dog.
Feed me the totally.
Feed me.
Yeah, it is San Francisco.
Corn
I
dog.
was gonna say.
Totally not suspicious corn dog.
I know you're listening there in San Francisco, Greg. That one guy's gonna hear it, and be like, "Holy shit!"
They know.
All right, gotta go. Bye. Woo.
Broody.
No, but you're saying the Halo movie. The new Halo game's about to come out. It's still possible. There's still hope for that movie.
Yeah, but my thing is, I feel like they won't go with Alex Garland's script, which is just a shame.
I don't know the difference.
If he made that movie, it would be great. Because like originally, when it was still being developed, Alex Garland wrote the script, and Neil Blomkamp was supposed to direct, with Peter Jackson producing.
Oh, wow.
That movie would have been so great. But I feel like if Alex Garland were to direct his script, it would still be great. Because just based off of Annihilation, his weird, creepy sci-fi horror vibe would just be so great for Halo.
Oh, yeah, I can see why they wouldn't go with that, though. Like, if they were to go on, like, very horde-based stuff, it would work really well. I don't know.
Well, there is a scene in his script where Master Chief speaks to the hive mind through Captain Keyes. He's just like this ugly mass of flood.
What do they call it? The flood.
Or is his name the Grave Mind? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But it's a really good script, and if you ever want to just read a script one day, I'd suggest just kind of browsing through that. I read it in like 30 minutes.